The difference between some of the third world countries and the highly developed nations is the strength of their economy and the strength of their strategic reserve. Somebody was speaking concerning Singapore the other day, and he said how they built up a reserve, I can't remember the amount, in billions or millions of dollars, and made a law in their parliament that no incoming president is permitted to spend from the reserve. Then they came to the point where they said, no, such a law is not enough because of the inflation and all that devaluation that goes on. The reserve now is also to be plowed back into investment to bring returns. So any government in power must make the money they want to spend. That was their law. You don't spend what we saved from yesterday, and you don't borrow to spend. Generate the money that you need to spend. Many years ago when we went to that country, they showed us condominiums, tall buildings that were empty en masse. We asked one of them, I said, what is this? He said, these are houses for children that are not yet born. They have already taken care of the accommodation of those who are not yet born. There are places where things are working on. And I can tell you that can be your strength, your own strength as well. In Proverbs chapter 21 verse 20, he said there is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spends everything. He spends everything. A foolish man spendeth it up. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise. But I'm sure you remember that was what happened in Egypt in the days of plenty. That was what Joseph used. In Genesis chapter 41 verse 34 to verse 36, the summary of this is don't spend everything. Now, what is the principle of this? Because there are maybe people here today who may say, what I have is not even enough for me to spend. You are talking of not spending everything. It's like they used to say in the village, I don't have what to eat. You are asking me to donate to teacher. Because in those days, the villagers were meant to carry yam and things to the village teacher, the local school teacher. And they say, where is your own donation? I say, me, I don't have what to eat. You are telling me to donate to teacher. Let me have what to eat first. So some people are saying, I am looking for 15,000 and I got 10,000. And you're asking me to set what aside? I need 5,000 more. I'll tell you the principle. There are three things that you must know. Number one, the reserve is a faith principle. It's a faith principle that says, I will always have more than enough. You are not there yet, but it's a faith principle that says there will always be something to keep aside. So even when you are not in the realm where you have enough to keep aside, you started keeping something aside, even if it was 1 naira. I have not seen that realm yet, but I am beginning from here. Am I communicating? And every time God sees faith, he moves. Number two, the storehouse compels the blessing of God. Another way to say it is, the blessing of God is in search of the storehouse. Just say it like this. You have made up your mind not to spend everything. You begin to compel the blessing of God in your life because God sees you as a wise servant who is not a waster. Thirdly, the storehouse is a wisdom principle that guarantees profit. The Bible said in Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 10, it says wisdom is profitable. Wisdom is profitable to direct. It is a wisdom that says, I'm not such a person that spends everything, and that will bring you profit in the end. Finally, the storehouse exists as a magnet of resources. If you read Matthew chapter 25, verse 24 to 29, which we will read later, he said, give this talent to the wise servant. Take it from him that is not the wise one. Give him to the wise servant. Let me say this, and I want you, don't forget it. Money travels in the direction of money. Money will always look and locate money. Give this talent to this one who doesn't know how to multiply. Take it from him. Give it to the other one who knows how to make it plenty. That is why they say the rich are becoming rich. And have you heard that before? And it makes some poor people very angry. Rich is becoming richer, poor are becoming poorer. The reason is there are things that, I'm not talking of corrupt rich people, I'm not talking of fraudulent rich, I'm talking of genuinely principled people who are wealthy by principles. There are things that they do that poor people don't know to do. A real rich person, before you see him wearing a shoe that is 100,000, there is a minimum of between 1 to 10 million somewhere that is not touched. A poor person, if he has 110,000, he will buy a shoe of 100,000 from that 110,000. That behavior maintains him in poverty. He thinks he's shining and dressing and spooting, but shishi is not anywhere. There are some young men who are posing and walking on the road like this. Walking on the road like this. Is having iPhone that is bigger than his size. If he pours away a little girl that is hawking granite, if he pours that granite away and they say he should pay, he can't pay. And yet he's doing that, bouncing. Some people may be saying that the principle of reserve or the principle of, let's say, the storehouse may not make economic sense or accounting, especially because of the light of inflation. Okay, if I put money in savings or put money here or there, the rate of inflation is even higher than the interest rate that I may be in. Listen, it is better to keep it somewhere than to hang it and waste it. Certainly. If where you want to keep it is a multiplying place, better, right? And I'm not talking of all the magical things that they are talking. Bring 10 naira today, under 2 days we'll give you another 10 naira. Anything that is too good to be true, most times it's too good to be true. But I'm not talking of those ones. I'm talking of genuine places where it can go and multiply. But instead of it hanging and you waste it, it is better that it is kept somewhere if there is something that is coming in, and then or you make it bigger. Somebody say aloud, amen. There are so many people who say, I'm paying tithe, I'm giving offering, and they are blaming God, and God is saying, I am not to blame. There are things you are doing that are good, but there are plenty things you are doing that are wrong, and those wrong things are knocking out the good things.